Welcome everyone to this optional lecture on how to use the Windows command prompt. In this lecture, we just need to cover some very basic commands that we run at the command prompt, since a lot of Git commands are run at the command prompt. In this lecture, we're really just going to go over how to change directories, how to make a new directory, and how to list files in your current directory. A quick important note for OneDrive users. In general, we would recommend to try to avoid operating inside a OneDrive folder for this particular lecture, and in general for Git, as it may cause issues since OneDrive itself tends to act as its own versioning system depending on the settings and your overall subscription to OneDrive. Okay, let's head over to the command prompt. Alright, so here I am at my desktop. To find your command prompt, you simply need to type in either just CMD and then select the command prompt, or if it doesn't show up in that case, you can just type out the entire phrase command prompt. You can even see it's starting to autocomplete this for me. Let's go ahead and open up the command prompt. So a lot of our time is going to be spent here on the command prompt, especially when operating on Git at the command line level. Later on, we'll discover there's actually a desktop tool that we're also going to learn about when dealing with Git and GitHub. But for right now, I just want to teach you a few basic things about being able to operate at the command prompt. Before we jump into it though, I do want to point out that you can right-click at the very top here on this gray bar, and then you can go to Properties and actually edit some properties. For example, in this case, since I'm filming this for you, I should probably increase my font size. So I'll increase, let's say, all the way to 36. That's quite large, but keep in mind I'm filming this, so that makes sense for me right now. I'll hit OK, and here we have now our command prompt expanded with a larger font size. You can think of the command prompt or command line as a way to programmatically move between files. Your file explorer is how you do this graphically, where you can double click on files, right click, hit new folder, etc. The command prompt is the same thing, except we do this just through simple text commands. So how can I change directory? Right now I'm under C, Users, Marcial. If I want to go back up to Users or down to another folder, I need to figure out what folders are available to me. On Windows, you can type out dir, and that will list everything that's currently in this directory. So as I scroll down, I can see I have lots of files here located under my directory. For example, one of them is desktop. So if I wanted to change to the desktop, I can say change directory, space, and the name of the directory I want to change to. So for example, I can cd or change directory, space, into desktop. Hit enter, and now I'm located underneath my desktop. And I can run dir again to see all the files I have on my desktop. So that's probably the main two commands you're going to end up using, is change directory and then dir to list the folders and files in your current directory. If you ever want to clear everything that's on your command prompt, you can type cls, and that will clear your screen for you. So let's imagine I want to go back up a directory, essentially going back up a file. So instead of Marcial desktop, I just want to go back to Marcial. To do that, I change directory, space, and then 2 dots, and that brings you back up a directory. So for example, if I were to do this again, it would take me all the way up to users. So if I want to see what users I have, I can type out dir, and that's going to list all the files and folders inside of users, which you can see are, in this case, not that many. It's just a single user and then the public user. And then I can cd into any of the folders listed here. So I can change directory back into my account, and then if I wanted to, I could change directory into, for example, my downloads. Now you don't technically need to type this all out. You can use tab to help autocomplete. And tab is a super useful tool because it's essentially going to tell you if that folder you're looking for is actually directly inside the directory you're in right now. So, for example, let's say I was confused as to what folders there were under my account here. Well, imagine I wanted to change directory into some sort of brand new folder. Brand new folder doesn't actually exist. So when I hit enter here, it says, sorry, the system cannot find the path specified. That's because brand new folder doesn't exist. One way I could have checked for that is by saying cd brand and then trying to hit tab to autocomplete. you'll actually get a sound and a notification. I don't know if you can hear that, but it's coming through my headphone right now. Essentially a little sound that says, hey, there's nothing here that starts with brand underscore. And that basically indicates to you that using the tab is a good way of figuring out, hey, does this directory actually exist or not? So let's show you the last command that we want to go over. I'm going to clear my screen again, and let's show you how to make a directory. I'm going to change directory to my desktop using tab to autocomplete. I would highly recommend you use tab to autocomplete. That way you can confirm that you're typing out the right directory and you're in the right folder. And now, underneath desktop, I'm going to make a new directory, which is essentially the same thing as making a new folder. This is essentially the exact same thing as when you right-click on your desktop and hit new folder. To do this, you simply say mkdir for make directory, space, and then the folder you want to make, such as brand new folder. Hit enter, and now you'll actually see a new folder on your desktop called brand new folder. And in fact, if we zoom out a little bit, you can actually see it here in the corner. Okay, so now if I want to change directory to that brand new folder, I can cd to brand new, and in fact I can tab autocomplete this, and if I type out dir, it should be empty because it's brand new. And you see here, it's basically just showing you two hidden files that are essentially empty with 0 bytes. It also lists how many bytes you have free. Okay, so that's basically it. Remember, it's change directory, and it's change directory space 2 dots to go back up a directory. So change directory, the directory you want to change to, make directory to make a new directory, and then dir to show everything in the directory. And that's all you need to know for this course.